Tycho Brahe was a 16th century Danish scientist who was the last major astronomer to observe the planets and stars with the naked eye. Brahe was heavily influenced by Ptolemy's Almagest, but perhaps by force, since it was the only astronomical book published at the time. This book included the theory of geocentrism, in which the planets and sun orbited Earth. In 1572, Brahe recorded a new star that had unexpectedly appeared in the Cassiopeia constellation, and 2 years later he wrote about a sighting of a comet. Both observations went completely against the idea that the heavens were perfect and immutable or unchangeable, as, yes, you guessed it, Aristotle said they were. Although Brahe disproved Aristotle's perfect heavens with his empirical data, he still could not truly believe in Copernicus's heliocentric theory, for the Ptolemaic system of geocentrism aligned more closely with Brahe's scientific and religious beliefs. For example, Brahe believed the heavens were filled with ether, a light and celestial substance Aristotle had added as a fifth classical element. Earth, however, did not contain any ether, and therefore was too heavy and lazy to move. However, he did like the mathematical reasoning of heliocentrism. Not sure which model to believe, Brahe said, "You know what, I'm just going to make my own theory," and so he did. He named this new proposal the Tychonic or geoheliocentric system, a combination of the 2 previous theories in which the other planets surrounded the sun which still orbited the Earth. King Frederick II, determined to keep Brahe in Denmark, most likely to claim the astronomer as his own, offered to fund Brahe so he could create a giant elaborate observatory on his own private island of Herven. Of course, Brahe agreed, and thus the Uraniborg Observatory was born. While on Herven, Brahe designed and built his own huge observational tools, such as a giant Miller quadrant, a device that Brahe meticulously calibrated. He later hired Johannes Kepler as his personal assistant in helping with calculations regarding planets' orbits, and they corrected basically every previously known astronomical record. However, Brahe was selfish and refused to share many of his discoveries with Kepler, afraid he would use his observations to help prove Copernicus's heliocentrism. In 1601, Brahe was not allowed to relieve himself at a banquet, and his bladder subsequently exploded, leading to his death. Kepler got his revenge by stealing Brahe's data.
Kepler was born in Germany in 1571 but was raised in the Netherlands. He was often sick as a child, he contracted smallpox among many other illnesses, and developed bad vision as a side effect. After struggling through elementary school, Kepler went on to attend a Protestant university and eventually got a teaching job in Styria. While there, he was also in charge of horoscopes and predictions. In fact, Kepler accurately predicted the Turkish invasion, which led to an increase in his salary. He was a very religious man who strongly believed that God had to have some higher plan for organizing the solar system. He also fully supported Copernicus in his belief that the sun was the center of the universe. Kepler believed that in order for the planets to move, each one needed a constant pushing or pulling force, and he was the first to conclude that these forces came from the sun. When Archduke Ferdinand closed Kepler's school in an attempt to rid the land of Protestants, Kepler decided not to convert to Christianity and instead moved to Prague to work with Tycho Brahe. Kepler never liked the way Brahe was making use of all the money and land given to him, so when he died, Kepler stole his data. Brahe had never shared a lot of his research with Kepler because he did not want Kepler to use it to prove the Copernican theory. Brahe wanted to create his own model of the solar system. Kepler instead used this data to assist him in developing his 3 laws of planetary motion. Through work with Mars, Kepler discovered elliptical orbits, and with the help of Brahe's charts, Kepler found that Mars travels at different speeds, faster when closer to the Sun. Kepler determined that more massive things pull less massive things towards them, which was incongruent with Aristotle's beliefs that all matter is attracted to the center. Kepler was also the first to conclude that the gravitational pull of the moon causes the ocean's tides. He stated that if the Earth ceased to attract the waters of the seas would rise and flow into the moon. Kepler had a peaceful stay in Prague until the death of his 7-year-old son, followed shortly by the loss of his first wife. Not long after that, the Emperor of Prague was forced to abdicate due to poor health. The Emperor's brother took over, and he was not tolerant of Protestants, so Kepler moved himself and his remaining children to Linz, Austria. Kepler was later known as the father of modern optics. He wrote Camera Obscura, which was the first description of how the human eye works. He also designed the first telescope with 2. Soon after that, Kepler died in Regensburg due to illness. He was buried in a local church that was later destroyed during the 30 Years' War.